Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've just recorded a class live, just in the moment. So today is, I believe, January 18th and roughly maybe 5:45. I'm going to take a look at my watch, 5:50 p.m. So just finished an 8-hour day work, and it's been kind of a long week already, even though it's only Wednesday, and had Dr. King's day off, except for having taught a class. So today I'm just going to kind of guide you through a class of something I would do at the end of a day to try to kind of get some excess energy out, feel like I've moved around, and at the same time bring us down to a space where we can settle down and relax. I have 2 yoga blocks at the top of my mat that I may or may not use later. So if you have one, I recommend going ahead and grabbing your blocks, whether you have 1 or 2, however many you feel comfortable with. I'm currently sitting on my mat in a cross-legged seat, and I'm not trying to get the perfect seat. What I am focusing on is maybe drawing the flesh away in my buttocks a little bit so that I can really root my sits bones down. And I'm trying to really align my body where my ears are over my shoulders are over my hips, and my sits bones are rooting down, allowing my outer thighs to drop. If you need to, you can grab a block and prop it underneath you and let your tailbone slightly draw back as you let your outer thighs and outer calves drop so that you can give yourself a supportive base. So we're going to go ahead and sit up tall, rest your hands on your lap. You can do one palm on top of the other, palms up, or one hand on top of the other, palms up. Or if you feel the need to be grounded, maybe rest your palms down on your outer thighs or on your knees, wherever feels comfortable for you. I let my elbows drop in because I'm trying to, right from the get-go, relax my shoulders. I'm going to close my eyes and think of aligning my chin parallel to the mat. And what I'm doing here is breathing in through my nose and out through my nose, just allowing the breath to come in and out of my body. And I'm also trying to feel whatever sensations that I'm feeling. So I'm a little bit tired. I'm grateful that my work day is over and I can spend some time doing things like yoga, which take care of me and allow me to provide myself with self-care. So kind of using this practice as that today, not necessarily going through the most athleticism possible, but we'll be doing some strength. So try to cultivate that sense of relaxed strength, rooting down, lengthening the spine up, allowing the body to settle into this space of ease and stillness. Relaxing tension from the forehead, feeling any creasing or furrowing of the brows relax. Allow your jaws to soften, your tongue to rest heavily in your lower jaw, shoulders to drop, spine to lengthen, abdomen to expand with each in-breath, so you feel your belly followed by the rib cage and chest expanding, and then a recoiling inward of the chest, rib cage, and abdomen as you exhale. And continuing to breathe in this fashion, in through the nose and out through the nose. And we're going to try to keep this steady, relaxed breath throughout. So often in vinyasa flows, for example, we use ujjayi breath, right? Or kind of ocean breath, where we contract, take a little contraction in the back of the throat. For today's practice, I want you to approach it more like maybe we would a practice that's more relaxing, a yin practice, a restorative practice, just deep, steady, even breaths. On the next exhale, I'd like you to draw your chin towards your chest and let your shoulders drop, and maybe open your eyes and look down at your calves, your feet, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. And really focus on letting the elbows draw in, the hands, the fingers relax, and keep focusing on your breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Noticing any thoughts that arise and letting them be there. You acknowledge them and then allow them to gently move away. They're just thoughts. Right now we're on our mats and we're taking care of ourselves. Feel a stretch along the back line of the neck. Feel the elongation in the spine, the belly drawing in, especially with the exhalations. Now on the next in-breath, really slowly return your head to neutral so your chin is parallel to the mat. You're going to exhale, turn your head to the left, And notice whatever you notice. Actually, I'm going to mirror you. So you're going to keep your head in the opposite direction of mine. So it's going to be my right is going to be your left. So your head is going ahead and turned over to your right. Gently breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Feeling the stretch along the left side of the neck. And maybe you notice that right shoulder is trying to hike up a little bit here, right? So we want to keep descending the right shoulder. So your head is facing to the right. Your right shoulder is relaxing and stretches on the left side of your neck. And I apologize for any confusion there on the side. Then inhale, return your nose to center, chin parallel to the mat. Let's go ahead and exhale and turn the head to the left. Notice any adjustments. Like I just noticed myself leaning kind of forward, right? It's that type A personality. You must go forward, forward, forward. Bring yourself back into alignment where you're creating a nice perpendicular line to the ground. They'll stretch along the right side of your neck. Let the left shoulder drop out. Even physically place my hand on my shoulder or body parts that I'm trying to adjust. Notice your breath. Then inhale, bring your head back to center, chin once again parallel to the mat. And before we look up, I want us to inhale and hike our shoulders up. So let them come up high, almost like you're trying to wear earrings, like make earrings out of your shoulders, and let your arms relax. So I have a soft bend to my elbows and I'm letting my shoulders hike up. Now with your shoulders hiked up, I'd like you to inhale, bring your nose up toward the ceiling. You'll notice how it's really hard for me to talk. Yet when I breathe in through my nose and out through my nose, I can still breathe. It's a little more challenging. The heart rate may get a little elevated. When you feel like the heart rate's starting to get elevated, or in about another breath or so, I want you to drop the shoulders, keep your nose up toward the ceiling, and notice how that changes. So now imagine if we're walking around with that stress and tension from our shoulders hiking up, how much harder it is to get breath, right? Right there was a moment where we experienced that. I want you to really relax the shoulders, let them get heavy. Now carefully inhale, return your head to center. Now we're going to exhale, let that right ear drop toward that right shoulder. Notice that your right shoulder might try to hike up. Here, go ahead and place your left hand on your right shoulder and let yourself relax. You might even feel that soothing sensation. And I would even encourage you to let that right hand drop to the ground. I'm placing my palm down, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Notice that I'm still keeping the length to both sides of my waist. And I'm really rooting both sits bones down, really taking care to root down the left seat. Good. Now we're going to go ahead, place the right hand back on the left and inhale, return the head to center, relax your left hand. Now we're going to exhale, let that left ear descend toward the left shoulder. See what happens on the right side of the neck and shoulder. For me, there's a lot of tension there. And now I'm going to go ahead and keep my left shoulder relaxed by placing my right hand on my left shoulder. And I'm really focusing on continuing to lengthen the right side of my waist. I'm rooting my right seat. I'm really feeling centered here in my foundation, strong, firmly rooted. It's also nice. It's soothing to place our hands on ourselves too. Maybe let your left hand come down to the ground. Good. Now we're going to gently bring the left hand back onto the lap. Inhale the head to center. And let's exhale that right hand down onto the ground. Nice job. We're going to add a little rotation. So now we're going to go ahead and exhale, and we're going to rotate the upper body to the right, left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Right arm is behind you, wherever feels comfortable. You want to inhale, lengthen your spine. I like to keep my chin parallel to the mat. Then as you exhale, feel the rotation start from the left side of your waist, from the left hip point, and create a diagonal line over toward that right rib cage, upper right rib cage, maybe even into the right shoulder. For those of you who it feels good and it's accessible, tuck that right hand that's behind you into that left hip crease. Inhale, grow tall, keep relaxing the left shoulder, and exhale, add a little more rotation here. As appropriate for you. I'm still trying to let my outer thighs drop so they relax. Relax your jaws. Notice deep in breath. And on the next complete out breath, let's go ahead and return back to center for a moment. Pause at center. So when we're working, we're typically going, even the most relaxed of us. Take a moment to pause. And then exhale, rotate your upper body over to the left, right hand to the outside of that left thigh. Relax into that right inner hip. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, rotate just a little deeper as your body allows. Maybe if it's accessible to you, take that left hand and snake it into that right inner thigh, right hip crease. Inhale, grow tall, chin parallel to the mat. Exhale, twist. We're feeling that diagonal line from that right hip point up into that left rib cage, maybe even into that left shoulder. Keep rooting both sits bones down. Good. Inhale, return to center and take a big exhale. Sigh out through your mouth. Nice job. So now we're going to go ahead and take ourselves into a switch of the cross of the legs. So we're going to bring the opposite leg in front of us. So we did all of that work here. I want us to do a little bit of lateral. So we're going to go ahead. This time we're going to start on our left side. So we're going to go ahead, feel an exhalation and start to lengthen your right side. So for right now, I'm letting my left forearm elbow rest on my left inner thigh. And I'm keeping my head and neck in line with one another. I'm going to slowly inhale, reach that right arm out to parallel just for a moment and feel like your fingertips reach out. So notice I can pull back into myself here in my right shoulder. I want you to exhale, almost lengthen out like you're trying to touch the wall, yet keep growing that side bend. You can stay here, or you can go ahead and go down onto your hand in a diagonal line, slightly diagonal from your hip, or come down onto your forearm elbow. As long as your right seat is rooted, you know you can go down a little deeper. Reach that right arm up and maybe start to take it over. Now notice how I'm going ahead and angling my right ear, right cheekbone toward my right upper arm. I'm going to lower my right shoulder down so it plugs in. I'm going to keep reaching. Now this time my right fingertips toward the left wall. Notice how my left shoulder is descending down. It's directly followed by my left elbow here because I have my hand, my elbow down. If I were up higher, my hand would be at a diagonal, left hand at a diagonal to that left hip point or left outer hip. Now go ahead and feel the stretch, lateral stretch, right rib cage. Keep rooting the right seat. Feel like that right lung is expanding and contracting. Every in-breath, the right lung expands. Every out-breath, that right lung contracts. Draw the left shoulder back. Now you're going to reach that right arm up. Look up toward the right arm. And I want you to exhale, rotate the center of your chest toward the ceiling and your right fingertips back. This is going to give you a nice stretch along the front of the chest, into your chest, along the front of the right shoulder, into that right bicep. Keep drawing your left shoulder down, pressing into the left hand or the left forearm. Keep rooting both sits bones down. One more breath. Just find the space that you can find. Now we're going to exhale, return the right fingertips up toward the ceiling, chest is squared forward. Inhale, sit on up, and then exhale, let your right arm drop for a moment. Feel the length you've captured into that right side of your body. Now we're going to do the same thing with the left. We're going to start off right forearm elbow onto that right inner thigh. You're going to start to feel the expansion as you take the lateral stretch into that left side. Feel that left rib cage expand. Reach your left arm out to parallel. Square your shoulder so you can see how my left shoulder was going, trying to go forward. We're going to square out here. Now we're going to plug that left shoulder and pull in toward yourself a little bit. Then inhale, reach those fingertips out toward the wall to your left. Keep rooting the left seat. Now we're going to inhale, reach that left arm up. You can stay here. This could be your side bend. Or you can go ahead and bring your right hand down, add a slight diagonal of your right hip, plugging your shoulder in, keeping your shoulder squared. Or if you know you have a little more mobility, right elbow down underneath that right shoulder to give you the best traction in here, I find. Maybe look up toward the ceiling, plug your left shoulder in, and then reach the left arm up and over like you're trying to touch the right wall, turning your left cheekbone toward your left upper arm. Maybe they even connect. Keep your shoulders squared and think of that rotation. Think of that lateral stretch going right here into that mid-rib cage. Really feel the stretch. Think of creating a letter C with your side body. Think of that left lung expanding and contracting. Keep rooting the left sits bone down. So you'll notice that your left side is really lengthening here and your right side's kind of shortening a bit. Good. Now we're going to inhale, reach that left arm up toward the ceiling, then exhale, start to open up. So my rotation starting from my right rib cage, going into that front body stretch here, across the left bicep, into even the left fingertips. Breathe, looking up if that's available to you, opening your chest up toward the ceiling. Feel how the stretch changes. Feel how it's a little harder to root down. Good. One more breath. In through the nose, out through the nose, or if you need to sigh something outside, out through your mouth. And then inhale, return the left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Exhale, press into the right arm to sit up and relax your arms. So you should feel that length along both sides. Now we're going to go ahead, take our hands behind us, palms down, elbows in, fingertips facing towards your buttocks, elbows softly bent and drawing in. We're going to get those wrists lined up underneath the shoulders and inhale, lift your hips up. So think of sending your hip points up toward the ceiling. I'm looking up toward the ceiling with my chin descending to protect my neck because it's a little achy today. You can certainly drop your head back if that feels good for you. I don't recommend dropping your head back, however, if you have any kind of like cervical herniations or neck herniations. Feel a subtle squeeze of your gluteals. So as you exhale, engage and squeeze the gluteals, press down into the shins and feel a little more stretch in the hip points and inner thighs. Slow, steady, deep breaths. You're going to notice the breath is a little more challenging here. Keep lifting those hips up just a little higher. Inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and take a seat and inhale, sit up tall. I'm going to go ahead and hinge forward. So we're going to bring our fingertips to the mat in front of us. Wrists are going to be shoulder width apart. You're going to inhale, draw the tailbone back, send your chest forward. You may hear my kitty meowing in the background. And then you're going to exhale, walk forward. So you can bring your fingertips to the earth, elbows to the earth. I can come down a little further, and I may in a few moments, but right now I kind of want to stay here. Elbows underneath the shoulders. I'm going to draw my chest forward, continue to root my seat down, draw my tailbone slightly back, and as I exhale, I'm pulling my belly in. Trying to relax my hands. I'm going to gaze down the tip of my nose, just kind of looking at the carpet. I'm going to avoid drawing the chin toward my chest. Relaxing my jaws, and I'm breathing. I'm feeling the stretch, a little bit in the external hips, certainly in the gluteals, a bit into the low back, which is where most of us really need it. Now I'm going to exhale and try to come down a little further. For today, I'm going to create a pillow for my head, one hand on top of the other, elbows up and out, shoulders drop back, chest comes forward, and I'm going to continue my journey down, trying to think of elongating my spine and keeping the connection of my sits bones down onto the earth. It's really easy here to lift more toward the outer thighs. I want you to keep sinking the sits bones back. If you notice that it's hard to do that, then you're going to just lift yourself up and root your seat and be present just a little bit higher. Feel those outer thighs drop, connect to your breath here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just a couple of breaths, and really using this to decompress this practice, letting go of a work day, letting go of a work week, letting go of a difficult client, letting go of a tough project. Now we're going to inhale, sit on up, and we're going to go ahead and take a moment to transition on to all fours. So we're going to go ahead and place the wrists directly underneath the shoulders and the knees directly underneath the hips. And I like to give myself space in front and behind me as well. I'm going to go ahead, draw my shoulders back, press into my hands, and at the same time, really pull my belly in and up. Spread the fingers out wide. Now we're going to exhale, start with cat today. Let's tilt the tailbone between the thighs, hollow out the belly, round the thoracic spine, and rock back slightly just to deepen that stretch in the lower back and really start to engage the belly. Notice a big rounding in the thoracic spine, mid-back. Then you'll inhale, point the toes, lengthen the tailbone, and unfurl the spine, shoulders back, chest forward, cow. So notice I'm not getting much range of motion here today because my back has really been tight lately. Now we're going to exhale, tuck the toes, hollow out the belly, round the thoracic spine, rock back slightly in a cat, drawing the shoulders back, rooting the hands. Then inhale, point the toes, lengthen the tailbone, unfurl your spine, shoulders back, chest forward, cow. Even though the belly is technically hanging down, we're trying to think of still pulling it in and up. One more time, exhale, tuck the toes, hollow out the belly, round the thoracic spine, rock back slightly in your cat, look inward, chin toward the chest. And then inhaling, pointing the toes, lengthen the tailbone, unfurl your spine, shoulders back, chest is forward, cow. Now let's return to neutral spine with our toes tucked. Go ahead and transition actually into a little bit of a side opener. So we're going to keep the left knee underneath the left hip, pull the belly in, draw the shoulders back. You're going to inhale, extend your right leg straight back, squaring your right hip forward, pressing the ball of the right foot into the mat. And think of lengthening your right heel toward the wall behind you, your shoulders toward that wall behind you, and your chest forward. Trying to keep my neck in line with the rest of my spine in a neutral alignment. You're going to feel your right quadricep do some work here to stabilize you, and your right hamstring and calf get a bit of a stretch. Now we're going to keep both hands down onto the mat. I want you to inhale, float your right leg up. You're going to notice how your body transfers weight slightly forward. Now you're going to inhale, keep both hands down, open up that right hip. So you're stacking your right hip over your left hip. Your right arm is going to try to go into a lift. I want you to keep it down and keep trying to square your chest. So you're starting to get a little more rotation here. Think of your right toes pointing out to the right. So feel that spiral that's happening in that right quadricep along that right leg. Tuck your left seat underneath you, engage your left gluteals, and you're going to go into a balance. Inhale, open that right arm up, stacking your shoulders, stacking your hips. Pull your belly in. Think of the crown of your head reaching toward the wall in front of you and your heel reaching toward the wall behind you. Let's get a little more outer gluteal and outer hip action. I like to place my right hand to my right hip and lift my right leg up a little bit without changing my spine. I find I can get a little more rotation, and I find that I enjoy the feeling of that right gluteal engaging. So you're strongly rooted to the earth in your left hand, but I want you to feel like there's a lightness in the torso. Good, a couple more breaths here. Maybe balance challenge and close your eyes. Keep lifting that right leg up as appropriate for you. Good. If you feel really balanced challenged, just open your eyes. Lift that right leg up a little higher if you can. Keep stacking those hips. Good, inhale, reach the right arm up, and then let's reach it overhead in line with that right ear, turning your gaze up toward the ceiling, reaching your right fingertips toward the wall in front of you. 1 or 2 more breaths here. Should be feeling those right obliques, right outer hip and buttock. Good, now we're gonna do a slight release. Exhale that right leg down to the earth. I'm thinking of lining my left heel with my right inner ankle. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Take a deep breath, lengthen, and then exhale, reach that right arm up and over, and maybe start to reach it down toward the ground as you create like a rainbow shape out of yourself. Feel a big lateral body stretch. I find that lateral stretches really work to release tension. So it's nice after kind of a long day or long week to kind of go into that side body stretch. Notice how my breathing is a little challenged here. It's obviously getting into spaces that are tight. Good, now inhale, reach the right arm up, lengthen both sides of the waist. Exhale, bring the right hand down to the earth. Inhale, float your right leg up, squaring your hip point straight down, pointing your right toes down to the mat. And then exhale, bring the right knee underneath your right hip, pull your belly in, nice job. So I'm gonna move a little bit left and right just to release tension. Good, abdominals in, shoulders are back. We're gonna inhale, extend that left leg back, press into the ball of the left foot, reach the left heel toward the wall behind you, shoulders back toward the wall behind you, chest forward, crown of the head, top of the head aims toward the wall in front of you. You're keeping your spine in neutral alignment. I am putting energy into my hands. Good, now we're gonna go ahead and add on. We're gonna inhale, float the left leg up, keep those left toes aiming down, left hip point aiming straight down. Sometimes it may even feel like you need to turn your right hip a little to the right to square the left. Notice how the chest goes forward here. Put a little more energy into those hands. Really pull the belly button in and up. Good, now we're gonna go into that hip opener. We're gonna inhale, open that left hip up, stacking the hips while keeping both of your hands down on the ground, pressing strongly. And from this side, you can see more how that left gluteal goes right into engagement here. And you're tucking the right seat underneath you to engage that right gluteal as well. Now we can go ahead and try to get a little lift out of that left leg to get that outer buttock working. Let's add our balance challenge. We're going to inhale, open up to the left. Reaching your left fingertips up toward the ceiling, maybe that left leg comes up a little higher. If, like me, you like to bring your left hand down to your hip and assist that rotation through the rib cage, go ahead and do so. Keep lifting that left leg up. Tucking the right seat underneath you. Maybe you close your eyes for that added balance challenge. It's easy to lose your connection here. Open your eyes if it becomes too much. Good. Keep lengthening through both sides of the waist. Now we're going to inhale, reach that left arm up. Good. Now for a moment, just reach your left arm toward the wall in front of you. For a moment, turning your head up toward the ceiling. Good, now inhale, reach left arm up. Exhale, bring the left leg down. Line your right heel up with your left inner ankle, inner heel. Toes are turned out slightly. Then we're going to exhale, reach the left arm toward the ceiling. And then up and over toward the wall in front of you, maybe down toward the ground to go to that deep lateral stretch. Let your head hang down a little bit here. Keep pressing into the right hand, tucking the right seat underneath you. Really enjoy the stretch. Left side of the body is stretching. Here, the right side is doing more of the engagement work to support you. Belly supporting you as well. Relax your jaws. Good, now we're going to inhale, lengthen The left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Exhale, square the left hand down. Inhale, float your left leg up. Left toes aim down, really square out your hips. And then exhale, bring that left knee underneath the left hip and tuck your toes. Triceps start to spiral in. So think of the inner edges of your tricep drawing in. Pull your belly in, spread your fingers out wide, and exhale, carefully lifting your hips up and sending your heels back into a downward facing dog. So in a downward facing dog, we're going to go ahead and create an upside down V shape. You want your feet to be about hip width apart. If your back feels a little tighter, you can always go wider. And go ahead and look back at your feet, seeing two parallel lines here. Maybe look forward toward your hands while sending the chest towards your thighs. See that your thumb, pointer, and pinky fingers really root down. Your wrist creases there at the front are parallel to the mat. Your shoulders are drawing back. Your chest is drawing towards your shins. You're pulling your belly in and up. And if you can't sink your heels all the way down to the ground, lifting the heels up is fine. You want to, if your heels are up rather, it's fine. You just want to feel the energy of trying to sink them down. If it's really tight in the hamstrings, you can bend your knees and really lengthen your tailbone. And I actually like to do this, even though I can sink my heels, because I find it helps me release my back more and kind of melt my rib cages toward my thighs, kind of giving me more space. And then I drop my heels and I notice, hey, I have more stretch. There's a little more of a concavity in my upper back. Just what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to release that tension here. Push the mat away from you with your hands. Drag the mat back with your feet. If you can see your inner heels, you're going to want to try to kind of hide them behind your feet. Feel your upper inner thighs spiral back and out and really lengthen. Think of ripping the mat in two, sending the front part of your mat forward, the back part of your mat back. Your hands push the mat forward. Your legs drag the mat back. Nice job. You can even shake your head out here. So we are going to hold down dog a bit. Stretch out that back body, strengthen the front body. 2 more breaths. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And kind of think of your belly button pulling away from the waistband of your pants here. Good. Now we're going to inhale, transition that weight forward, shoulders over the wrists, putting ourselves into a plank. Remember, you can always drop your knees behind your hips and send your chest slightly forward into modified plank. Inhale, exhale. Deep, steady breaths. Couple more breaths. Notice I'm keeping my spine aligned. Stay with me. Keep breathing, reaching through the heels, lengthening your spine. Now we're going to slowly exhale, shift the seat back, heels down into a downward facing dog pose. Adjust as you need to, right? If you feel like your body's getting tired, arms are getting tired, go ahead and take a breather, take a child's pose, shifting back onto your knees, pointing your toes and shifting your seat back to your heels. If you can, stay here just a couple moments more. Should feel pretty good. Nice, kind of a little bit of heat into the body here. I'm going to exhale, slowly walk the hands back towards your feet. Your feet are still in that parallel line. You're going to walk your hands back toward the feet. If you can't touch your hands to the ground, no worries. Take your hands to your ankles or your shins. If you can touch the ground, just let your hands rest wherever is appropriate for you. Sometimes I like to line my fingertips up with my toes. If I'm feeling a little more flexible, I may walk my hands back so that my fingertips are maybe in line with halfway along the outer edge of my feet. So I'm going to let my head hang down. I'm going to take a moment to transfer the weight so that all 4 corners of the feet are getting an even amount of energy. So the weight's evenly distributed throughout. I'm sending my chest toward my thighs. And maybe today I'm going to wrap my arms around my calves and take opposite hand to opposite elbow. If that doesn't work for you, it's okay to keep your hands down, or it's okay to hold on to your calves. Once you feel your eyes close gently, head hang down, relax your jaws and feel a nice big stretch along the back line of the body. As you sit here for a bit, you'll start to notice that your body sways, that you can sink a little deeper into the ground, that you can draw your chest a little bit more towards your thighs, folding more and more in half or into yourself. Maybe you can send your sits bones up a little higher. I like to keep a little bit of my weight forward
Get a little more stretch in the hamstrings. Keep drawing the shoulders back away from your ears. It feels good. If it feels good, rather, shake your head out a little bit. No. And then very carefully nodding yes. I like to do 3 times of a nod no, 3 times of a nod yes. On the next exhalation, I'd like you guys to let your hands relax. Think of gorilla arms, palms face up, fingertips face back. Soften your knees, let your buttocks drop just a little bit. As your buttocks drop a little bit, maybe your rib cages rest on your thighs. And draw your chin towards your chest. You're gonna exhale, pull your belly in, and you're basically gonna roll up like a Pilates roll up. Inhale and keep the knee soft, let the tailbone draw forward, slowly stacking the lower back, weight in the heels, pull the belly in around your upper back, middle back, upper back, slowly, slowly, shoulders, neck, head. Take a moment here, requisite adjusting of the clothing. Let your arms come down on either side of your body. Kind of accept your body as it is. I'm accepting my little belly push doesn't go away no matter what. Draw the shoulders back, lift the chest. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up, interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, and inhale, take a little bit of a back bend. So taking your weight into your heels, quads forward, tailbone forward, chest forward. I like to engage in my gluteals to protect my back. Reach your hands back. Now, I'm not going for gigantic back bend, especially lately. My back's been tight. If your back bend's a little bigger, go for it. On the next in breath, I'm going to stack my spine, palms face one another, fingertips point up toward the ceiling. Then I'm going to exhale, slightly soften my knees, hinge from the hips and swan dive forward. Hands go on either side of the feet. You can hold on to your ankles, your calves, whatever works for you. Now I'm going to go ahead, inhale, spine halfway up. Start off with hands to your shins. So draw your shoulders back, seat back, belly in, chest forward. Think of creating a parallel line with your back. Think of flat back, right? Like think of a tabletop shape. I'm softening my knees so I'm not locking out. I can kind of wiggle them a little bit. And I'm going to lift my toes up because I want to activate my feet for a moment and kind of on purpose give myself a little bit of a balance loss. Spread your toes out. Then try dropping your pinky toes, your second toes, your third toes. Our feet need to exercise to stretch and work. Your second toes and your big toes. And now notice how your weight transfers forward. Those of you who can keep that parallel line, you can drop your fingertips to the earth, wrists underneath the shoulder, shoulders back, chest forward. This is not a must. This is an optional. If it causes you to sink down deeper, I don't want you to do it. I want you to keep your hands to your shins. It's not better, it's just different. Relax your jaws, keep lengthening, keep creating more and more space. Shoulders back, seat back, chest forward, head forward. Create your parallel line, evenly distribute your weight in your feet. Now we're going to do a little bit of an animal-like walk. I want you to soften your knees as necessary. I don't really need to soften mine. Mine are pretty much where I like them to be. You're going to place your palms down on the mat. That may mean you need to bend your knees a little bit. So we're going to kind of walk like an animal, take a couple of steps. So I want you to walk your right hand and your left foot forward. Pause there. Soften that left knee. Now walk your left hand and your right foot forward. Pause there. Soften the right knee. Let's do another step forward. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Take a moment here. Now you'll notice your left hand and your right foot are probably forward. You're going to get your toes lining up with one another, your fingertips lining up with one another. Take a moment here. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Pull the belly in. Put some weight into your hands. Spread your fingers out. This time triceps spiral out so think of turning your elbows out a little bit. Put more weight into those hands. Bend your right knee, thinking of right heel toward the buttock. Pull the belly in. Draw the right quad towards your chest. Another breath here. Imagine you could fly up. We're not going to. I want you to imagine you could. Weight in those hands. They may get shaky, the arms. Now you're going to straighten your right leg and exhale, sink the heels. Get the weight out of those hands for a moment. Keep the hands exactly where they are, but draw your chest towards your thighs. Notice your breath. Really hard out for a moment. Good. Let's go ahead and once again, do that same thing other side. Inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet, pull the belly in, push away from gravity, triceps spiral out, elbows turn out a little bit. Weight in the hands, bend your left knee, bring the heel up toward the buttock, rock forward a little bit. Feel like your right leg could float up. Keep trying to kick your left buttock with your left heel. Notice how this feels. Look at the space between your thumbs. Feel like you can really press down and push yourself away. Pull your belly in. One more breath. Then exhale, bring the ball of the left foot down. Next exhale, roll back onto the feet. Keep the hands where they are. Just draw your weight back. Shake your head out. Toes in line with one another. Find your breath. In through the nose. And out through the nose. Or out through the mouth like I just did there. It's really just improvising sometimes, It's been a while since I've taught steadily, so getting my voice back, making some errors, kind of being okay with it. Yoga makes me allow myself to make mistakes. Now we're going to sweep those hands back toward our feet and turn the palms up as your fingertips face away from you. So my hands are lining up behind my heels. Yours are going to go wherever they go, and that's good. Now we're going to inhale, take the tops of the hands to the small of the back, elbows open out, one hand stacked on top of the other. You can stay here, draw the shoulders back, send the chest towards your thighs. I'm right now kind of over the arches of my feet. Now, those of you who can, interlace your fingers, draw your knuckles back and up toward the ceiling, draw the shoulders back, and exhale. Keep the weight over the arches. So think of bringing your hips over those arches. That's one option. Other option is to continue to hinge forward and bring those knuckles forward toward the wall in front of you, paralleling your arms to the earth. Some of you can go beyond that, feel free. I'm going to focus on drawing my shoulders back here. Bringing my head to neutral. Keep thinking of folding in half, feeling where the stretch is. Even weight in both feet. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. When we release, I want us to release mindfully. So if your knuckles are facing toward the wall in front of you, now your knuckles are going to go up toward the ceiling. Keep the rest of your body unchanged. You're going to keep the interlace. You're going to bend your elbows, bring your knuckles to the small of the back, hug your inner elbows in and draw the shoulders back. We're going to hold on to this here. If your hands were one on top of the other, you're going to stay there. Soften your knees, shift your weight a little bit into your heels. Now inhale, build a back bend in here. Draw the shoulders back, lift your shoulders up and back, send your chest forward, rib cage down toward the ground. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. A little bit of a back bend. Then exhale, fold chest and rib cage toward the thighs. Next exhale, release the hands to the ground. Let them walk forward in front of you, but we're still not really placing weight into them. Like here I am, floating my hands off the ground. It's all still in my legs and lower body. Now we're going to go ahead, shift our weight forward. So my hands are about a foot or so away from my toes. I'm going to come up onto the top of my left foot, soften my left knee, drop the left shin toward the ground. So I'm stretching into the top of my left foot. Weight is in my right foot as well as both hands. Feel that stretch in the left foot. Really let the front of that left foot drop toward the ground. Good. Now we're going to exhale, bring the left foot back to the earth underneath your left hip, toes in line with one another. Soften your left knee. You're going to go ahead and bend your right knee, bring the top of the right foot to the mat. Bend that left knee a little deeper, drop that right shin toward the earth. Lightly pressing into your hands, into your left foot, and really working to stretch the top of that right foot. Press down into it. Relax your jaws. So we often neglect to stretch the shin and the shin muscles as well as the muscles at the top of the feet. So I want us to do that here. And then we're going to exhale, bring that right sole of the foot to the mat, and notice how much different it feels. Kind of pedal your knees out really quickly. A little more space in those feet, a little more space in those legs. Very lightweight in the hands. I can even lift my hands up. Good. Now we're going to go ahead, bend the right knee. Bring the top of the left foot to the earth. Bring the top of the right foot to the earth. Inner thighs connected. Inner edges of the feet connected. Exhale, shift your buttocks back to your heels. Stay there for a moment. So my hands haven't really moved. They're in the same spot that they were in the previous pose, kind of a variation of a down dog. Now, exhale, elbows underneath the shoulders. I'm going to turn my palms up here. And when you do that, notice how that opens up your shoulders. Try to keep your elbows underneath your shoulders. Breathe.
rock a little bit left. I'm noticing some tightness and tension in my quad into the knee muscles, and then rock to the right. Then return to center. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and transition ourselves for a moment. You're going to inhale, walk your hands back on either side of the knees as you sit up. Ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Take a moment here, breathe. Maybe you rest your hands on your quads. Now we're going to pick a buttock and we're going to sit down on that buttock. So I'm going to go to the right today. I usually go to my left. I'm going to sweep my legs forward. I'm going to scooch my tush forward and I'm going to go ahead and grab a yoga block. I'm just going to take one with me. Take the yoga block with me. I'm holding onto the short side. I'm going to reach my yoga block at a diagonal. So think of your wrists diagonal to the shoulders. Keep that spine nice and tall. Really root the sits bones down. Check in that your toes are in line with one another. Knees are in line with your hip points. Plug your shoulders in, but reach the block away. So your shoulders draw back, block and fingertips reach forward. Now exhale, pull your belly button and tilt your tailbone between your thighs. Check that your knees stay in alignment with your hip points and just hold here. Think of separating, creating space between the shoulder blades. Think of stretching into that mid back. Really pull your belly and tilt your tailbone slightly up to protect your back. Lift your block up just slightly so you're still containing that diagonal line. Now bring your right knee up towards your chest so your calf is parallel to the earth. Flex your right foot, reach through your right heel. Good, now same thing with the left leg. Bring that left quad in towards you, left calf parallel to the earth, flex your left foot. Hold that roundedness here for a moment. Reach the heels away from you, toes towards you, block away from your shoulders back. Feel your belly engage, maybe straighten your legs out. This is not a traditional boat pose, kind of playing with a little bit of Pilates in with yoga. Then bend both knees. Right foot down, left foot down. Inhale, sit up tall. You'll feel that release. Now we're going to go ahead, exhale, roll back. This time roll a little farther back, maybe to the sacrum, the flat, the triangular juncture at the base of your spine. Pull your belly and tilt your tailbone up. So that mid back is a little closer to the earth, a little more belly engagement. Left knee in towards you, point your toes, calf parallel to the earth. Right knee in towards you, point your toes, calf parallel to the earth. Hold here. Now can you exhale, rotate the block to the right. Hold, should be burning your belly. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate your upper body to the left. Hold, again, should be burning your belly. Inhale, center. Exhale, release the feet, release the spine. Block up toward the ceiling, shoulder blades, draw back into the ground. Walk your heels in towards your buttocks, as close as is comfortable for you. For some of us, it can get pretty close to the booty or right up against it. Inhale, and then exhale. On the next in breath, I'd like you to tilt your tailbone up. Just feel your buttocks lift up off the ground and hold there. Pull your belly in. Next in breath, lift your lower back up off the ground. Should be able to get your hand right underneath your bum. Good. Hold there for a moment. Pull the abdominals in. Think of the knees being parallel to one another and in line with your hips. Now step your feet maybe an inch or two forward and see if you can engage your glute muscles to draw the tailbone up and kind of send it at a diagonal. Pull the rib cage in. Again, it's a little bit more of a Pilates approach here. Breathe. Now we're going to take the block, short side facing you, and you're going to place between your mid thighs, and you're just going to squeeze. Reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling. Squeeze the block. Think of your tailbone going toward the block and trying to shoot the block toward the wall in front of you. Now exhale, open the arms out to T, palms up, and just let your upper body drop there. Squeeze your block. Think of it like you're trying to squeeze juice out of an orange, trying to squeeze juice out of that block. Keep sinking your feet, relaxing your shoulders. Feel how the gluteals are engaging here, right? There's work going on here. The belly is pulling in. We're trying to lift the buttocks up. Adjust your clothing as you need to. Allow the practice to be what it is, right? It's rarely, if ever, perfect. Keep squeezing the block. A little bit longer here. We're going to try to line the wrists up with the shoulders here. Palms face up, squeeze the block. Good, now we're going to exhale, lower one vertebra down. Pull the belly in, tilt the tailbone up, squeeze your block. Exhale, lower another vertebra down. Keeping the booty up so you can still see have space there. And another vertebra down as you exhale. Keep that tailbone tilted, pull the abdominals in, and bring the entire spine down. Still squeezing your block. While you squeeze your block, keep your left shoulder down. You're going to exhale, release both knees.
to the right and the head to the left. And here you may wish to remove the block for a moment, letting that right outer hip left outer hip get a stretch. You can take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh, lengthen your left buttock away, and look over that left shoulder. Keep lining the left wrist up with the left shoulder. Good. Now, keeping your head to the left, I want you to keep your feet together, but inhale, open up that left thigh. So your left knee lifts a little bit. Grab your block, place it between your mid thighs again, and then let your left thigh drop down onto the block. Squeeze the block once again. Inhale, nose and knees back to center. Adjust as you need to. Squeeze the block and keep your right shoulder down. As you exhale, release your knees to the left and the head to the right. Once you've landed, see how this feels. So I like that it's kind of activating me a little bit by squeezing the block, but I want to really twist. So I'm going to release my block, set it aside, and go ahead. And then if it feels good for your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, lengthen your right buttock away. Keep your right shoulder rooted, head is turned to the right. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, who've been students of mine, may have noticed changes, right, in my spine's flexibility. I did take some time off from teaching yoga. I used to teach it full time along with Pilates ever since the pandemic, and kind of working more job where I'm sitting a lot. And while it's enjoyable and it's nice, at the same time I miss it, and my back has kind of suffered for it. Trying to get back into teaching more regularly. So here I am. And you'll notice it happens to yoga instructors too, when the quote real world gets in the way. I'm going to release left arm down. Inhale, nose and knees to center. With that being said, it happens. It's okay. And we work with the bodies we have. Inhale, bring the right thigh in towards you. Lengthen your tailbone, bring the left thigh in towards you, and sit there for a moment. See how that feels. Settle into your hips. Maybe flex your feet, reach through the heels. See how that feels. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaws. Give yourself permission to rest a moment. Belly still working. We're still active. We're still aware. You're going to exhale, bring your hands to your shins if you can reach there. Otherwise, it's hamstrings, right? Hands to hamstrings, a little tougher, hands to shins. Draw the knees in towards you, squeeze your inner thighs together, and exhale, curl your upper body up. Nose toward to or between the knees. Draw the shoulders back. Breathe here. Keep reaching through your heels. Treating yourself with compassion, with forgiveness, with love. Then exhale, melt your upper back down, shoulders down, head down. We're going to bring the soles of the feet to the earth. We're going to go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together as the knees drop out. Let your head be in neutral, nose aiming toward the ceiling. You can rest your hands on your rib cage, hip points, inner thighs. Close your eyes. Few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling the effects of the practice. Noticing how you feel right now. Maybe noticing a little bit of resistance. I felt resistance. I didn't know what I was going to do when I was teaching today in terms of the practice. I just knew I didn't want to do a straight shot vinyasa. There's nothing wrong with straight shot vinyasa. However, sometimes at the end of the day, we're tired, our body's achy, and we need yoga, but we don't necessarily need a strong flow. We need to work on releasing, relaxing, opening up, stretching, while still getting strong. So as I moved through the practice today, I paid attention to my body, and I thought, this is what I need. And today I taught from that space. And here we're accepting, we're releasing, we're letting go, we're feeling the back of the skull, relax on the ground. We're releasing any thoughts about what a yoga practice should be, and then we relax the middle back onto the ground. Feel the triceps relax onto the mat. The lower backs and buttocks relax on the ground. Feel your palms resting on your inner thighs, and feel the outer hips drop as those inner thighs relax. For some of us, we may feel the outer calves on the mat. Some of us may not. Notice what your body is doing and let the body drop. Feel the soles of the feet connect. And notice your breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. Lovely. Let's go ahead and on an in breath, bring the soles of the feet to the ground as the inner thighs draw toward one another. Maybe rest your hands on your belly for a moment. If there's any tension in your back, you can certainly heel toe the outer edges of your feet to the mat and let the inner knees connect. Let's take a moment to honor movement, honor our bodies, honor ourselves, honor the practice. Slowly roll on an exhale onto the right side of your body. Pause for a moment there. Just feel what's happening. Notice how you're feeling. Place the left palm to the earth in front of your heart. Slide the left leg slightly off of you, and then inhale. Come on up to a cross-legged seat. Taking a moment, again, allowing for a little bit of adjustment of the clothing. Sitting in a comfortable cross-legged seat for you. And noticing what's going on with your body. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel tightness? You need to shake something out. Go ahead and bring the palms together in front of the heart. Bow your chin towards your chest. Let's take a moment to practice gratitude. Grateful for someone and something today. Om Shanti, Om peace to each of you. Thank you for today's practice. Thank you for watching. I'd like to remind you that if you enjoyed what you did, I'm always happy to receive some money from you guys, some donations. You can Venmo me at Alejandra, capital A, lowercase Lejandra, dash, capital B as in boy, O, Z as in zebra, Z as in zebra, O, LASCO. I look forward to seeing you guys again. I hope that you enjoyed the practice and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I hope to see you guys really soon. Fingers crossed, maybe even tomorrow. Thank you.